a bit of win. We had the lovely snow to look at least.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
There are benefits to that.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well, thank you ever so much for volunteering your time. I'm not going to say you were sat there literally, but tell us then, we're here with TeachMate. Just introduce yourselves, tell us who you are rather than the brand, and then tell us then a little bit about TeachMate, and we'll start then from the end and work our way around.
Okay. Well, it's lovely to be here, so thank you for the opportunity to have a chat. So I'm Lindsay. I'm one of the community engagement managers. I work especially with secondary, and my background is as a psychology teacher. So I've worked especially A-level, sixth form work in the past.
So I'm Karen, so also community engagement, but more around the primary phase. So I'm a primary school teacher myself. So Thursdays and Fridays I'm in school teaching my year 5 class, and then working with teachers with TeachMate on a Monday and a Tuesday.
Well, thank you for introducing. Thank you for coming to speak to us. How are you finding Romania so far?
We've only been here a very short time so far, so it looks beautiful in terms of the snow. Can't wait to get out. I've heard there's an amazing spa, so that's high up on the list.
We've had good restaurant recommendations and we're ready to explore. Yeah.
How has the conference been for you this morning?
Yeah, really nice. Good opportunity to talk to a bit of a mix of people today, and share a little bit about what TeachMate does, but also hear some really interesting keynote speeches as well. So.
So tell us then, TeachMate, what does it do?
So TeachMate, we have over 130 AI-powered tools for teachers to help them save time and to help them make personalised resources for their students. So everything from planning to making resources, assessment tools, tools to help you with your admin, tools to help school leaders, loads of tools in there.
Okay. And obviously we've got a secondary and we have a primary. So I'm going to just piece these things together and assume then it works from primary all the way to secondary. That a very good observation there for myself.
Yeah.
But surely then we want to have some differences. So think about the things that we can utilise, things that students or teachers can do, because that's always the question with this: is it geared for teachers? Is it geared for students?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. Give us your elevator pitch.
So teacher facing. So it's a tool for teachers to use. There are tools in there that you could use with the children in your class, but very much a teacher facing tool. And I would say all the tools in there you could use across any phase, all the way from early years up to post 16. But we've got some enhancements, haven't we, in there for secondary to make it more applicable to secondary. I'll let you explain.
Yeah, absolutely. So the two main aims that we have with our tools are to really save teachers time, and the majority of us in TeachMate are from teaching backgrounds, so we know how important that is. Yeah. And then the second aim is about super personalisation, and of course those two aims can go through across all the phases, all the subjects, and so our tools actually are really applicable. Every individual tool pretty much works in both phases, but then we have a few that are a bit more specific. Exam question generation, for example, looking at model answers, careers advice, a whole range of things that are a little bit more secondary focused.
And how did you two, as obviously, I assume still full-time teachers, well, not full-time, but still practicing teachers, how did you get into this role?
So I got into this role by using TeachMate myself. So I've been using TeachMate since it was launched in 2023, and really saw how much time it saves me as a teacher and how I was able to improve the learning for the children in my class by using it. So super excited to then see the opportunity to have a role within TeachMate supporting other teachers. Fantastic. To do that.
I actually came out of the classroom, so I was working internationally up till August, and so I saw this opportunity, and actually a lot of what attracted me to TeachMate was the values in terms of what TeachMate's doing in terms of the aims of the tools. I would say originally I've been more of a cautious AI user, and I really like what the tools are doing in terms of actually supporting that use, but with real professional evaluation in the process, and it's something I can really get behind. So it's a great opportunity.
Fantastic. So I've got some different questions, some different scenarios, and one of them was inspired by Dan's book. So in Dan's book, he talks about the different types of leaders, one of them being a heretic. So I have some of these opposing viewpoint questions for us to go through. Firstly being an over-reliance on AI. So obviously we've got multiple tools, and obviously the platform that you have as well, and they are becoming more and more prevalent. Are we at risk of students and educators becoming over-dependent on AI, diminishing critical thinking and creativity?
Well, I would say one of our big things is around teachers evaluating what comes out of TeachMate. So we've made it really easy to go in and edit everything that you get from TeachMate and refine that output yourself. So when we talk to teachers, we talk very much about applying their professional judgment to everything that comes from AI and not just assuming that it's going to churn out something that you can just put straight in front of your students.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're in agreement with that?
Yeah,
one?
absolutely.
Or
Yeah.
don't.
There are quite a few different entry points for that refinement and tweaking and changing, and I think that's a really key feature.
Okay. Now, one of the things that we obviously hear a lot about, and I'm interested in how you guys overcome this, is about AI bias. So a scenario here for you about AI bias in the classroom. So we need to imagine we have our AI tool. Now we can use yours. You could think of anything else and maybe give a comparison between the two. But imagine you have an AI tool providing subtly biased information on, let's go with a historical event. How would you train students or staff to recognize and question such biases, ensuring a balanced understanding?
Oh, great question. So a lot of our tools are very much teacher facing. They're not as much at that student level. So it really comes down to what Karen was saying before about when we're doing training with schools, when we're doing training with our users, we are going back to that critical evaluation of checking through information. So I'd say that was the key point.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of taking on the responsibility of trying to educate teachers around some of those things around AI. So not just teaching them how to use TeachMate, but kind of that wider picture around AI, so they're aware of all those things like bias that are going to come into AI responses.
Yeah, we're developing other resources at the moment. So we've got a framework, a progression framework for schools that's really looking at the use of AI beyond just TeachMate and helping schools to think about what are those tricky questions that they should be looking at and what are the next steps for development of AI within the school.
That's great, thank you. Last question. I want you to imagine that TeachMate had a personality. So what type of personality would TeachMate have?
Oh, tricky question.
It is a tricky question, and actually it takes me back. We were talking to someone last week who was talking about the danger of doing that too much. So I think there's part of that in there that is called TeachMate because we want it to be your mate, something that works alongside you and supports you, but also that awareness of what AI is doing and the fact that it's not a person doing your job. So maybe a kind of supportive person alongside you, but very much not someone who's taking over that role. That the teacher is still that person who's in charge.
You can't got me thinking now because I had another one because you said mate there. So I'm going to ask you both. If AI could take over one of your daily tasks completely, what would you gladly hand over to it?
Oh, cleaning. 100%. All housework. I'm ready for that robot.
Yeah. Karen, what about yourself? What
In
would you-
teaching or in life?
Well, we've gone with life here, haven't we?
yeah,
So
sorry.
life is...
It'd have to be the cooking if it was life, I think, yeah. Just something that would do those jobs for me. But I think in the classroom, just those kind of admin jobs where I really feel like I'm not using my skills as a teacher and just freeing up that time to have more time doing that human stuff with the children.
Yeah, I'd love it if it was just like I could speak to it and it would just enter things for me, which I'm sure you probably could do now in multimodal.
Yeah.
It's like say the name, say the grade, say
Yeah.
the food, whatever it is, and it just goes in.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing. Well, if people want to learn more about TeachMate and what it is the platform does and contact, where is the best place to find you guys?
Through our website, so teachmate.com, all of our details are on there to contact us. And our job is to work with those people that want to know more. So, yeah, do get in contact and let us know.
Amazing. Well, but thank you both for coming to speak to us today. Enjoy the rest of the conference
Thank you.
and all the best in finding the spa and restaurants in Romania.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.